That's so cute. Welcome to the channel if you're new. I'm Meg, I'm in recovery from anorexia relapse, and I've been seeing an amazing psychologist who has been helping me so much, and I try to just share some of the stuff I learned from her in these videos. So this relates to the eating disorder DVD, which I've actually done a whole video about if you want to learn more about the DVD, but just to give like a brief summary. So your eating disorder DVD is kind of like your eating disorder mindset, like those thoughts to avoid that food, eat under a certain amount of calories, compensate for a certain food, or if you think you've overeaten, or go and exercise to burn it off, like whatever eating disorder thoughts you get. And they can be playing constantly, like especially early on in recovery. It's really hard to even know that eating disorder thoughts are playing because they feel so true and so real that it doesn't feel like a DVD at all. It just feels like reality. And when I say playing all the time, I literally mean playing all the time, like what am I eating? Have I gone over my calories? Blah, 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 blah. And then I found as I've gotten better, like I've gotten some respite from the DVD, like it doesn't play all the time at all actually. I can go periods where I'm not really entrenched in eating disorder thoughts, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere, like the DVD will get triggered and it will start playing again. And then I'm like thrown straight back into all the old thoughts I used to get. So like, if I'm planning to go for dinner with a friend and I'm like really excited about having pasta or a burger or something, but then I get to the restaurant and like my friend orders a salad, that for me would then trigger my DVD again, because then I'd be like, oh, well now I can't have pasta, now I can't have the burger, like you've eaten too much today, you're gonna get fat, that's too many calories, you have to have less than her, blah, blah, blah. So what my psychologist teaches me is I have to like recognize when my DVD is playing and then eject it, which is doing opposite actions. So whatever my head is telling me to do, I have to eject that thought, go and do an opposite action. So like replace the DVD with a different DVD, like different behaviors, different thinking, and do that again and again and again, like repeat, 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 until my brain starts relearning these thoughts, and it starts to learn that like, okay, if a friend orders a salad, I don't need to, like I can order a pasta, fuck it. And then like distract yourself from whatever, because it can feel shit, honestly. Like ejecting your eating disorder DVD is not a comfortable thing to do. But then what's helped me so much is realizing like, so what, I can feel a bit shit, like feeling shit is not a reason to not do it. I've been using this saying recently of like, feel shit and do it anyway. Like it's not gonna kill me, like it won't last forever, I won't feel terrible forever. But if I keep acting on my eating disorder thoughts and doing like what's tempting or what's the more comfortable option, my eating disorder will last forever.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive? Break the chains and our freedom's ours to take.
So it's been a year since I started recording that video. I'm now over 2 years into my recovery, and it's literally such a difference in a year. With that example of if my friend ordered a salad, I think now I would be able to just order a pasta, and maybe I would get a thought like, oh, she's got a salad, you should get that too. But then I can just be like, no, fuck it, I don't need to do that. My body's not going to gain weight if it eats more than her body. And I can rationalise it much better now and think like, if I act on an eating disorder thought, where's that going to lead me? Like if I do it this time, next time I go out for dinner I'll have to do it, and then the time after that I'll have to do it, and then I'm back to the belief that I can't eat more than anybody else. And I don't want that from my life. Like that's not my values. I don't value restricting or being the person that eats the least. It's not what I respect in other people. Like I actually respect someone who can just be like smashing a burger when other people are eating salads. And when I look back on my life when I'm 80, I don't want to remember restricting and copying other people's food choices or making sure I just eat less than them. Like, no. So she uses an analogy around like your brain wiring being like sledge tracks in the snow. The more you sled down, the more you sled down a certain path in the snow, the more ingrained it becomes and the more defined a path. And same with your eating disorder thoughts. Like the more you act on an eating disorder thought, the more ingrained that's going to become in your neural pathways. Stevie's coming to say hello. Stevie! Where are you, darling? Stevie! Oh. Oh, look at that face. Okay, you're hating life, you can go. So if you're in your sledge and you want to take a different path in the snow, like that's really difficult because there's nothing there. If I want to be that girl who can just order a pasta in a restaurant when a friend has a salad, if I've never done it before, it's hard because that neural pathway in your brain doesn't exist. Like all I would have had is something telling me, no, if someone else orders a salad, you have to order a salad. So if you want a non-eating disorder brain, like you kind of have to build it. You've got to force new pathways by doing non-eating disorder behaviours, and you've got to do it again and again and again so that that sledge track actually develops and it becomes your new pathway, and then the other one gets snowed over. She's now lying down next to my leg. So cute. So I feel like that's what I've spent the last 2 years doing, honestly. But I feel like for me, the old one's still there. Like I do still get eating disorder thoughts. They'll crop up sometimes when I'm really not expecting it and I'll be like, oh my God, where has that thought come from? I just have to like recognise it as an eating disorder thought. That's my DVD playing again, and not fucking listen to it. Because if I listen to it, then that's a very quick slippery slope back to like building that old sledge track, and then I'm fucked again. I'm back sledging my old path. And if I think about how many years I built my eating disorder up over, like how long my brain has had to learn my eating disorder thoughts and behaviours, it's not just going to go. I try and say to myself, like, once it's in, it's in. Like for foods that I'm challenging, once they're in, they're in. I'm not doing it as a one-off challenge. If I'm having cheese on my pasta, that's something I'm going to be able to do for life. Like it's going to be a permanent sledge track for me. It's not a, I'll just try this little one and then I'll go back to my familiar, much more comfortable sledge track, but the one that gave me my eating disorder life. Look, that's so cute. I think she's trying to cover her eyes to sleep. Bless her. Oh, I love that little girl. The other thing for me now is I kind of need to be really vigilant that I do stay in my new sledge tracks. Like stressful things are going to happen in life, triggering things are going to happen in life. People might make comments about my weight or make comments about their weight. People around me might go on diets, eat less than me, exercise more than me. My body will change as I age. But my psychologist thing of like, think about the bigger picture, that helps me so much. Like, what do I actually want my life to be? What person do I want to be? How do I want to remember my life? I don't want to remember it restricting, worrying about food, planning food, compensating, being cold, missing out on things, eating separate meals to my family, having little shitty Meg adaptations of meals. That is not the life I want. So however tempting it might be, like I can't go down my old eating disorder paths because that is the life it will give me. So yeah, bigger picture, what life do you ultimately want to live? Like even if you don't want to live it right now, because you won't always, you've still got eating disorder wiring in your brain, but what life do you ultimately want? And then do the actions in line with that like future life that you want, and let your brain rewire around it. Hopefully that's made sense. So I feel like that concept has helped me so much in the last 2 years. I'm so like grateful for my psychologist, honestly, to have learnt this stuff from her. So if it can help anybody else, that's amazing. Okay, lots of waffle cake from me. Lots of love.